Hey everyone, and welcome back to the show. The holidays are officially around the corner, and for some of us, it's this week. I'm recording this the week before Thanksgiving this year in 2024, so we are fast approaching. And for those of us who are paying close attention to our health and maybe even our blood sugar levels, the season can sometimes feel a bit overwhelming. I know it can for me. Between the endless parties, family gatherings, and the abundance of delicious food, it's really just too easy to let our routine slip. We've all been there, I've been there, those days where one treat turns into a week of indulgence, and suddenly you're feeling sluggish, out of sync, and just not quite like yourself. But here's the good news. You don't have to stress about it. With a little preparation, a clear mindset, and some simple strategies, you can navigate the holidays with confidence. Stay in control and still enjoy all those moments that make this season just so magical. So today I want to dive into exactly how I'm gearing up for the holidays, specifically Thanksgiving week. We'll explore the ways I'm staying on track and in some areas even stepping up my game. Sometimes setting small, mindful goals can make all the difference in helping us stay accountable and feel our best no matter how busy life gets. We'll cover everything from food choices to mindset shifts and even some of my strategies for handling the big Thanksgiving feasts. And yes, you heard it right, multiple feasts over here. I'm lucky enough to have two family gatherings to attend with me, which means 2 days in a row of incredible meals with lots and lots of food. So I'll share my thought process for navigating those meals, how I'll decide what to eat, and how I keep things balanced without missing out on the joy of the season. Grab your favorite beverage, get comfy, and let's dive into my holiday prep plan to keep glucose levels balanced, my energy high, and stress low. Let's get glowing, everyone. I'm Caitlin, and your host of the Glucose Glow Up Show. I'm a natural researcher and girl mama who dove into metabolic health research to heal my insulin resistance, all with the hopes of growing our family. Now I'm here to give you an inside look on how I achieved my glucose glow up and to share my journey with you so we all can achieve optimal health. I know we all want to be healthy, but with so much noise out there, it's hard to know where to start. Whether you're trying to start or grow your family, improve your fasting glucose or A1C, or just learn how I'm biohacking my health for longevity, you're in the right place. Let's get glowing. So I'm just going to start the episode off with just some things that I'm noticing and some things that I've noticed in myself in the past. Just that people really tend to just slow down and take a back seat in the holiday season with their health. It's just this season where it's okay to just let go and eat whatever you want. It's just become this cultural norm. And there's just this belief that we have to give in to the busyness, skip our workouts, indulge in all the unhealthy foods all the time. But for me, like my health has become a non-negotiable, and I just do not want to let the holiday chaos get in the way. I've always been a pretty disciplined person, especially when it comes to my fitness and mostly my health. I don't know that I've always known all the things I know now. I know I haven't, so I think I've definitely really continued to learn and grow in that area. So I want to share that with you too. And even though this all or nothing mentality is so common around the holidays and this time of year, it really doesn't have to be that way. We can still make better choices and feel good about what we're eating without feeling like we're missing out. And when we go with the all or nothing approach, I feel like it just kind of keeps going. It's like a domino effect. It's like one day you got off track and it's like, okay, I'm gonna sleep in the next day, or I'm just gonna eat whatever I want the next day and the next day, or I'm only gonna indulge on the weekends. Well, there are a lot of days on the weekend. So it just sort of just keeps going and there's really no end. So here's kind of what I'm thinking. We don't have to give in to the pressure of the holidays. No one's telling you you have to eat something. Like you can politely say no, thank you. And the stress of being overscheduled can also affect our sleep, and wonky sleep can definitely play a role in our glucose levels too. I felt this over the years, this idea that we should put our health goals on hold and pick things back up in the new year. But again, like I've said, why should we slow down and why let our health slip just because of the holidays? The holidays aren't like multiple weeks. I mean, it could turn into that, but with all the different parties and maybe gatherings you have, but those are singular days in the for most of the time, right? So it's like we need to just focus on those days versus saying, well, the next 6 weeks, it doesn't matter. So for me, I make time for my health no matter what's going on around me. I'm the person who won't skip the gym. I'm not going to skip the grocery shopping. If I have to, I'll do a pickup grocery order. Do whatever you need to do to get the healthy food in your house. Don't skip these things just because you got busy. Make health your priority. It's the foundation of everything I do, and I know that when I stay consistent, I feel my best, and that's exactly what I want to carry into this season. So this year, I'm actually stepping it up a little bit. I'm going up to the next level. I'm not slowing down. I'm just taking it up a notch. I'm even sneaking in some extra workouts. I'm focusing on fueling my body with homemade and nourishing meals and just keeping my routine extra strong. I don't want to undo all this hard work I put in throughout the year and then feel like I have to kind of go backwards in January, it feels like. So that's kind of why I'm doing this. I'm using this time like when it feels like everything around me is slowing down, I'm going to step it up and speed up in other areas of my life to just keep pushing myself to be better. So next, I'm going to talk specifically about things that I'm doing as I'm like stepping up my game. So let's dive into how I'm staying dialed in this holiday season. If I'm being honest, I'm probably in the best shape of my life that I've ever been in. I feel stronger than ever, and I just have a lot of gratitude for this long process. It's been not quite 3 years, postpartum, and it's just been kind of a long journey for me. Hasn't been a straight path. There were definitely moments when I wanted to quit and days when I felt like I would just never regain my strength, but I kept showing up even when it was hard, and now I'm here stronger and more confident than I've ever been. And it's just showing me that hard work takes time and you have to keep going. And even during this busy time of the year, don't slow down. Like I've worked so hard, why am I going to undo all of this? Like I've said, it just feels like this is the time when people hit pause, and I'm taking the opposite approach. I have all this momentum built up, and I'm really just leaning in to this season with intention, staying consistent. I'm keeping moving forward, and I'm also, of course, going to enjoy the holidays, especially with my young daughter. I just want to go through, I've got this list I came up with 11 things. I'm sure there's more or more that could be said about some of these. Some of them are pretty small and you'd be like, okay, but I think they're important to hit all of these. So let's go through the 11 things that I came up with that I'm focusing on. I am prioritizing fiber intake. So fiber is really a game changer for blood sugar. I'm making sure I'm prioritizing it at just about every meal I can. So, what does that look like? I'm starting meals with a big salad, or I'm roasting some veggies to have on the side. And sometimes I do like to have the salad before my meal. Like I try to be really intentional about that because having the fiber first and then your rest of your meal, like it sort of like primes your body to slow down the release of glucose by putting the fiber in first. So that's something that I'm just trying to be really mindful of. So whatever that is for you, like I also love red bell pepper. Like I just love it. So I'll just eat that just by itself, or I'll get some cucumber. Like we don't have to get crazy. Just get the veggies that you like and load up on them to keep your levels balanced and feel good. And you'll like feel fuller for longer the more fiber you get. Fiber seems to be one of the things that people lack the most. So the more we can focus on fiber, for myself included, the more we won't feel like we have to overindulge or we overeat because we just didn't feel full enough. Sometimes it just like if I'm eating too many carbs, like it's totally super easy to overeat on potatoes or chips and all of that, but the more fiber you get, the better. So that's why that's my number one thing that I'm focusing on right now in the season and something that I'll probably carry into the new year. The next thing kind of goes along with number one, but really trying to be mindful of refined carbohydrates, the chips, the crackers, the cookies, different breads and bakery and all of that. I'm just trying to be really mindful of that and switching them out, the pastas and all of that. So the non-starchy veggies I'm trying to switch them out for. So really love roasted Brussels sprouts. I really only like Brussels sprouts roasted in the oven with avocado oil and garlic powder, and sometimes I throw onions in there. It's just literally the only way I'll eat them. I have tried sauteing Brussels sprouts and I just don't like them like that. So for me, you need to just find the way that you like to eat them, right? So roasted cauliflower, I also love raw cauliflower. So I'm trying to swap in those types of like non-starchy items versus loading up with rice and pasta and more potatoes and things like that. I think it's really easy to, for me personally, like overeat pasta, especially if it's like mixed in with something, if it's like spaghetti, or sometimes I'll do it with like chicken sausage. So, anyways, I'm just trying to like cut back on that a little bit and go with more nutrient dense options to keep me full and fueled. Okay, the next thing I'm doing is I'm really relying on homemade snacks versus just buying things from the store that have hidden sugars and additives and all the things. I've just been trying to whip up healthier versions. I have my granola bar recipe that I've shared, muffins, brownies. I'm just trying to make my own, which sounds like a lot of work, but this way I get to enjoy something without like veering totally off track, and I can kind of control it. If I only want half of something, I just have half of it. I know what's in it, and also we're saving a little money not buying other things from the store. So, how exactly am I doing that with a toddler? Well, I usually have her help me mix things up, or I also love making things while we're making dinner, like I'll just mix it up and then pop it in the oven while other things are going on. Sort of avoids an additional mess because my husband just absolutely loves it when I fill the kitchen sink up with dirty dishes. So I've been just also putting a few snacks on repeat over the coming weeks. It's just like a no-brainer. I know how to make them. I'm not wasting ingredients and like always buying something else. I feel like I've gotten into this trap where I always need something new. So then you end up with all these extra ingredients, and then it's like, how am I going to use these up? And so I'm just trying to put a few things on repeat, and maybe they don't get made every week, but there's sort of like a little bit of a rotation. So I know that there's like, three or four different things I'm just going to keep making that we like, or I could put them in the freezer if we don't end up eating them, but sort of helping me eliminate waste and just stay focused there as well. The next one is cutting back on pre-made foods. I would say, since having our daughter, I've talked about this a little bit, that convenience foods have sort of weaseled their way into our house more than maybe I would like to admit. It's really easy to buy like frozen chicken, even like non-breaded chicken, that's already made. Sometimes I get some from Target too, which is really good for salads. It's just really convenient, or like side dishes in the frozen aisle, like dips and other like veggie kind of dishes or whatever, waffles or even frozen burrito kind of stuff. I just feel like a lot of that has just crept into my kitchen, and I don't feel like we've been taking the extra time to make our food. So I'm not perfect. This is something that I'm trying to focus on, but taking the extra time to prepare the full meal so that I know exactly what's going into our bodies and just feeling good with, feeding our family whole and real ingredients. I mean, is this going to last forever? No. And like I said, I have not been perfect, but convenience sometimes wins because fed is just what you need sometimes, and that's okay too. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm just trying to be more mindful of how often I grab the quick and easy pre-made stuff versus taking a little extra time to just plan a little better. I don't like to do a big, like 5 to 7 day plan. I get kind of overwhelmed with that and the list. So I've been just doing 3 days at a time, which sounds like maybe a lot of trips to the grocery store, but it's been working for us right now and it's cutting back on waste and pre-made stuff. So that's what we're doing there. Number five, batch cooking. So I used to be like a chronic meal prepper. I would spend like 3+ hours in the kitchen on Sundays meal prepping. So I am not into that anymore. I am not into this full-on meal prepping, sitting there, cutting, chopping, cooking, putting everything in these cute little jars. Like, it's not me anymore. Just, I can't get into it. I don't know if it's just the season I'm in, or if I just really enjoy the family time on Sundays, going to church, and then kind of doing whatever we want as a family versus feeling like I'm stuck in the kitchen. So I've really embraced meal batching instead. So just cooking larger portions, and then I get leftovers for several days, whatever that might be. And then, our weeknight dinners become easier. We're reducing food waste as well. So I do this a lot with taco meat, soups, enchiladas, hamburgers, pork chops. I mean, just really whatever you're making, you just make more of it, double, triple it, however many people are in your family, just make it work for you. I mean, obviously don't make so much that you're going to get sick of it. I did that a little bit with like enchilada meat. I had extra and then I just threw it in the freezer. And then you just get another meal for a few weeks later. So if you do overcook, you could just throw things in the freezer. But for me, batch cooking is definitely the way to go right now. Okay, number six, I talked about this a little bit, but I'm sneaking in some extra workouts, whether that's in the morning or I'm going for a walk after a meal just to kind of get up and moving, do a few push-ups. I don't know, whatever it is, but I'm just trying to keep moving. My daughter and I also have started doing yoga together. I have these little like yoga cards where it has like it's for kids, yoga for kids. It has like a pose on the card and explains what it is, and then like you do them together. So I show her the card and then like she does the pose that's on the card. It's really fun. I would say her favorite move is down dog or flipping her dog, but she gets some of the other ones too, some of the easy ones. But so that's really fun, just trying to incorporate more movement instead of sitting around and watching Christmas movies, which I also love to do. So a little bit of balance, but just trying to incorporate extra movement where I can. Number seven, I'm just taking it one day at a time. Sometimes big goals can feel overwhelming, especially during this season. I'm just focusing on small daily wins that are keeping me accountable and consistent without this unnecessary pressure. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. So, for example, my husband and I met at a bakery today for a treat and coffee this morning. It was special. We have flexible schedules that allow us to do that, so why not? And then I just jumped right back into my usual eating patterns and I moved on. Like I didn't dwell on it. Like I said, it's not this all or nothing approach. And if you just sort of compartmentalize just this one day and then you move on to the next meal or the next snack and then the next day, like you just take it small chunks at a time. Like you're not going to feel like you have these big goals, like I'm never going to eat a cookie the entire Christmas season. Well, that is totally unrealistic. You're probably going to end up eating way more than you would have eaten previously because you had this like really unachievable, unrealistic goal. So I'm just taking it one day at a time, one meal at a time in some cases, and then jumping right back into my usual patterns. Number eight, so slowing down more. So stress for me, I've seen it personally take a toll on my glucose levels. Like whatever kind of stress it is, if I am just running around like a crazy lady from thing to thing, meeting to meeting, just feeling even just stressed about different meetings, whatever it is, like I notice a difference in my levels. It feels harder for me to maintain control and keep things stable. So there's just so much going on, especially at this time of year, so I'm just making an extra effort to try and slow down and enjoy the small moments with my family. Just less hustle, more presence. Like I said, cooking and making our own snacks takes more time. So when we involve the family, we just get to stay home and it just reduces the stress for me. So just trying to find more ways to slow down, be more intentional. With that is nine. Journaling and pre-planning. So I've been doing this for a while, but writing down my intentions and plan for the day just helps me stay organized and just clear-minded. A little planning just really goes a long way, especially for me. I avoid stress, last minute decisions. I do this just about every night, and if I don't get to it, then I do it early in the morning for my workout, just planning what I'm doing. So that helps kind of with the last part, like lowering my stress levels and just knowing what's on deck for the day just really helps me. Um, the next one, I mean, it's sort of silly, but using frozen veggies. Life gets busy and I really lean into frozen vegetables when I need to save time. They're quick and nutritious and versatile, and they're just really perfect for just dumping in, a pot with a bunch of other veggies and meat or whatever it is, or sauteing. I love frozen broccoli, just sauteing it with butter, or if you have a sensitivity to dairy, you could use ghee. That's a really great option. Season it a little bit, and it's just really good. Again, goes back to the fiber thing, getting your veggies in, and just it's convenient. Frozen veggies are sometimes even more fresh than the fresh stuff in the produce section. So just really taking advantage of that because it just makes my life a lot easier. And then number 11, rounding out my list here of things I'm focusing on, I'm just sticking with tried and true foods. The holidays are really not a time for me to experiment with new recipes. I'm experimenting with what I know works, simple, nourishing meals that we all love. There's just really no reason to go crazy with some random Pinterest recipe that has like 89 plus ingredients that you don't even have at your house, and then you have to go buy them all, and then you have to chop it all up, and whatever it is, just stick to the stuff you like, you enjoy, that will keep you balanced, and that's really all you need. Okay, how am I handling Thanksgiving specifically? Thanksgiving is probably one of my favorite holidays. It's a time to just pause and gather with our loved ones, share in the joy of the good food and great company. For us, it's a bit of a marathon since both of our families host celebrations, so that means 2 full days of Thanksgiving meals. While I'm incredibly grateful for all the love and abundance, I'll admit it can feel overwhelming at times with the traveling and the food and just all the things. So again, like all the food, it's no joke, turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, different casseroles, pies, and just everything, right? Rolls, so many rolls. There's usually just enough food to feed an army, so just so much food. So over the years, I've learned how to approach the holiday in a way that lets me enjoy every bite while still feeling good afterwards and the next day, and just kind of leading into the rest of my week. So, how do I handle the day? Here's sort of what works for me. I just eat normally. I eat a normal breakfast, I eat a normal lunch. If I feel like I need a snack, I'll have a snack. Just stick to my routine. I focus on protein, fat, fiber. I just try and just get like really good balanced meals that I would normally have, so that kind of leads me into the next thing I'm doing, which is I'm not saving calories for these meals. I find that this approach backfires. When you skip meals, you're more likely to overeat later. So, like I said, I just stick to my usual balanced meals, protein, fat, fiber, some carbs to just keep my energy steady throughout the day instead of on this like, all right, I'm gonna eat nothing all day and then like have this huge rise in glucose and then my body was like, whoa, like what do you do with that? So I just stay consistent. And then the next thing I do is I really focus on hydration. Being dehydrated can affect your levels, and it also can affect like how much you eat. Like I find that if you're dehydrated, you might eat more carbs. So just staying hydrated is just really overall just a good thing to do. Staying hydrated is going to keep you not only balanced, but it's going to keep your energy levels up. So you're not going to feel sluggish and feel like, oh, I just want to like sit on the couch and eat turkey, which of course you're going to do that, but you're going to feel much more energized if you stay hydrated. So I make mindful choices without restrictions. When it's time to eat, I enjoy what I want to eat. I try and make mindful choices, but if I feel like eating something, I just eat it. I'm that person that it's like, this is just one meal on one day. So I try and load up with fiber-rich options like salad or roasted vegetables if they're available to just try and balance things out. Keeps me full and helps slow the absorption of the carbs to prevent that big glucose spike if I can. But again, if I want to eat something, I eat it. I'm not like super restrictive with this meal. I will say I try and limit, or sometimes if I get to the second Thanksgiving, avoid the bread basket. It's just, I feel like the bread is so easy to overeat. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not restrictive, but you sort of have to pick your battles. So I would probably rather do the mashed potatoes than have like a few rolls. That's just me. I would rather save room for the things that I like. I also am a huge pumpkin pie fan, so I pick my battles a little bit versus going in on everything. I also try and skip appetizers because for me, like I said, I show up to the meal and I've already had a very balanced day. Like I don't feel like I need a snack at that point because we're going to have a big meal. So I usually try and pass on the cheese and crackers or sausages or whatever might be available for an appetizer just so I can focus on the meal. And then lastly, if I can, go for a walk after eating. It's a really great way to get moving, spend some time outside, and help curb the post-glucose spike. Even a 10 to 15-minute little walk around the block can make a huge difference in your levels, and it feels really refreshing after eating all that food anyways and sitting around. So it also can help you avoid the like I'm feeling so tired after a big spike and crash because you ate like way too much food, right? So the walk can kind of help that. So by sticking to some of these strategies, I know that I can just fully lean in and enjoy Thanksgiving without feeling overly full or stressed about my goals. The holiday for me is just about connection and gratitude, and these habits just help me stay present while also feeling my best while celebrating. Just to kind of wrap things up, this is how I'm prepping for the holidays, Thanksgiving in particular, while keeping my glucose as balanced as possible. For me, it's just about maintaining consistency, staying disciplined, and just making mindful decisions even in the middle of all of this holiday hustle. Holidays don't have to be a free-for-all when it comes to your health. You don't have to choose between feeling good and enjoying the season. You can absolutely do both. I hope you enjoyed this episode and pulled maybe one or two tips from them. If you try something out, let me know, or if something resonated with you, I would love to hear from you. DM me on Instagram at GlucoseGlowUp. And until then, I hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving and enjoy your holiday meals. Until next time, keep on glowing.